And we are back. Welcome back to my Champions League predictions. It is now finally time to talk about those two semi-final second legs. It was a fascinating first week of Champions League action where I actually predicted correctly both of the semi-final first legs. So hopefully I can do pretty well with these two games this week. If you missed my Premier League predictions and you want to know what I've gone for tonight's game between Manchester United and Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park, make sure to check out that video available for you at the top of your screen. And don't forget that whatever happens in that game tonight, I will be going live after the game with my post-match reaction. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on my reaction to the Manchester United Crystal Palace game. But that is, of course, not why we are here. We're here to talk about these two matches, these two huge Champions League semi-finals, both very finely poised going into the games taking place tomorrow and on Wednesday night. Finally, before we do actually go into the predictions themselves, if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video if you do enjoy these prediction series as well. And let's get into it then. Two semi-finals, Paris Saint-Germain versus Borussia Dortmund and Real Madrid against Bayern Munich. As I already said, last week I got the score, well, I didn't get the scores correct, but I got the results correct. I went for a Dortmund win and a Madrid-Bayern draw. And I was pretty confident with both of those predictions. But now going into these two games, I'm a little bit less confident. I think there's a lot more sway in these matches now going into this second legs after the first legs ended the way they ended. And I'll be honest with you right now, I'm not going to predict either of these games to go to extra time and penalties. But at the same time, I would actually be surprised if not at least one of these games did end up going to extra time or penalties. But I'm going to spoil it now. I'm not actually predicting a game to go to extra time and penalties, but it would still be a surprise if that didn't happen. So we'll start with the game tomorrow. Paris Saint-Germain against Borussia Dortmund. An incredible performance from Dortmund in that first leg. Arguably unlucky not to be going into this second leg more than one goal up. But at the same time, with the few occasions that PSG hit the woodwork towards the end of the game, you could also argue pretty lucky to still be going into this game winning. It was one of those games where Dortmund could have been 2 or 3 ahead, but then it could have been going into this game at 1-1 or even 2-1 down. So it's a bit up in the air. You have to look at then what's happened this week afterwards. PSG not playing this weekend, so they'll be going into this game off the back of the 1-0 defeat, but fully rested. But without Lucas Hernandez. So they're going to be without one of their regular centre-halves. Rest of the team looks like it is going to be available for them. Borussia Dortmund did play at the weekend. They won 5-1 against Augsburg with an basically fully changed starting lineup. Marco Reus rolling back the years with 2 assists and a goal in that game. A brilliant performance from him, which also saw the return of Daniel Marlin to the side, who will be available for this game against PSG. So a lot of things going in Dortmund's favour going into this one, but PSG are at home, the Champions League curse on the line once again. I just think Dortmund have enough. I really do. I think Dortmund have enough to see them off. Whether or not, like I say, that's going to be in 90 minutes or if that's going to be in extra time or penalties remains to be seen. But I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw on the night, which will be a 2-1 win to Borussia Dortmund on aggregate. Could I see it being 2-1, extra time and penalties? Absolutely. But I don't know. I just don't think PSG are going to get it done. I think this Champions League hoodoo is just going to keep happening, and it's going to be Borussia Dortmund making it to the final at Wembley for the second time. Are we going to see a repeat of the 2013 final when it was last held at Wembley between Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich? It could happen once again. We shall see. But for me, in the opening game tomorrow night, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, which means Borussia Dortmund will be making their way to Wembley. As for Wednesday night and Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, 2-2 for the first leg seemed about right. There was good chances for both teams. I think both teams will be pretty unhappy with the goals they conceded. But overall, I think both sides will be relatively happy with the outcome that they got. Bayern not really expected to get anything from this semi-final. I think everyone expects Real Madrid to get the win. So I don't think Thomas Tuchel can be too disappointed that the game did end up finishing 2-2. And let's be honest, off the back of that game, with their performance at the weekend against Stuttgart, a 3-1 defeat where, yes, Bayern did make some changes, but you actually look at who played, it was basically who was available to them. They've now lost Guerrero to injury as well, so it's real question marks who's even going to be fit to play for Bayern Munich going into this second leg. And like I say, with what was possibly their strongest side anyway playing at the weekend, losing 3-1 away at Stuttgart doesn't bode well going to Madrid on Wednesday night. Madrid themselves, again, made wholesale changes going into their game at the weekend and were still pretty comfortable winners 3-0. Yes, they did have to bring on Bellingham and Vinicius and Valverde towards the end of the game, each substitution sort of ending up with a contribution. They were 1-0 up, Bellingham came on, made it 2-0. They brought Vinicius on, he was involved in making it 3-0. So they did have to use their key players in the end, but ultimately they didn't really need them to get a result at the weekend, and they're going to be full of confidence. They're going to be pretty happy with a 2-2 draw going into this second leg. It's just going to be a question of, can Bayern do the job that they did on Arsenal, whereby they sit in, they fight hard, they wait for their moments and take their chances, and can they actually do what Madrid did to Man City in the game at the Etihad? But we'll see. I'm still obviously heavily leaning towards Real Madrid. I think, as I say, most people are expecting Real Madrid to get the result at the end of the night. I'm going to go for 2-1 in 90 minutes. I think Bayern will score. I know Madrid did get the clean sheet at the weekend, but it's not that often that Real Madrid do keep clean sheets. But with the return of Thibaut Courtois, will he be thrust straight back into this game? Who knows? If he is, then fair play to him. He's obviously trying to get himself fit for either the Champions League final or for, of course, the Euros in the summer for Belgium. So it'd be interesting to see if Courtois plays again on Wednesday night. I probably wouldn't risk it because Lunin's done so well, but we'll see. If Courtois back in, I may potentially change my prediction to 2-0. But I think ultimately it's going to be a Real Madrid victory. I'm going for 2-1 to Real Madrid. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like I say, a fascinating 2 games coming up on tomorrow and Wednesday night. I am going for a Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund Wembley final. Will it be a repeat of 2013? Will it be Dortmund and Bayern Munich? Or could it even be Paris Saint-Germain against Bayern Munich? Or even PSG against Real Madrid? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like I just said, very, very tight games to call this one. But that is what I'm going for. Thank you very much for watching as always. I will see you tonight after Crystal Palace and Manchester United.